So, we've all been told that getting good with money is just about knowing the rules, right? Budgeting, saving, investing, simple stuff. But if it's really that simple, why do so many incredibly smart people, maybe even you, still find it so hard? Well, that's the paradox we're going to unpack today. I mean, just look at Brianna Bell. She was a writer who became famous as the tiger mom of personal finance. She was in major publications for her family's genius money hacks that saved them hundreds every single month. But here's the thing. Behind the scenes, despite knowing all the tricks, she was secretly racking up almost $10,000 in debt and felt completely overwhelmed. Her story is just the perfect example of this puzzle we're trying to solve. So, if knowing all the right things isn't enough, what are we missing here? The classic advice to just make a budget clearly isn't the whole picture. It must mean there are deeper, much more powerful forces at play here. Things happening way beneath the surface of our spreadsheets and spending apps.
To figure this out, our first stop isn't the bank. It's our own brain. We've got to look at how we're actually wired to make choices, especially when things get a little risky. And it turns out we are not nearly as rational as we like to think we are.
Okay, to see what I mean, I want you to make a choice. Just imagine there's a deadly disease, and 600 people are expected to die. You're in charge, and you have to pick one of two programs to save them. Got it? Okay, here's your first option. Program A guarantees that exactly 200 people will be saved. Program B is a gamble. Now, when faced with this, a huge majority, a staggering 72% of people pick Program A, the safe bet. We instinctively want to lock in a guaranteed gain. When it comes to saving lives, we become risk-averse. All right, now for round two. Same exact problem, just framed a little differently. In Program C, 400 people will definitely die. Program D is the gamble. Now, here's the kicker. These options are mathematically identical to the last ones. But look what happens. Our choices completely flip. All of a sudden, 78% of us take the risky gamble just to avoid a guaranteed loss. And that, right there, is a perfect illustration of something called the framing effect. The facts didn't change one bit, but our choices did a complete 180. Whether we see a choice as a potential gain or a potential loss fundamentally changes how we behave. This one bias shows just how easily our financial logic can be totally upended. It's not about the numbers, it's about the story the numbers tell us. But listen, this isn't just some mental game we play. What's driving our financial decisions goes way deeper than conscious thought. It's actually hardwired into our body's ancient, automatic survival systems. You know that feeling, right? That racing heart when you're about to open a big bill? That's not just stress. That's your body's alarm system. And let me tell you, it's way faster and often way more powerful than your rational brain. There's a word for this, neuroception. Think of it like your nervous system's subconscious radar. Before your thinking brain even has a chance to process the numbers on that credit card statement, your body has already scanned the situation and made a split-second judgment. Are we safe or are we in danger? It's completely automatic. And the effect this has on our thinking is, honestly, it's shocking. Just look at this. When your nervous system is calm, in what scientists call a ventral vagal state, your functional IQ is at its absolute peak. But as your body starts to sense a threat and shifts into those high-alert sympathetic states, your ability to think clearly just nosedives. In a state of total financial terror, you can literally lose up to half of your functional IQ. So let's be really clear about this. When you are in that state of financial panic, you are physically incapable of accessing your full intelligence. The part of your brain that handles complex problem solving and long-term planning, it pretty much just goes offline. So we've got these biased brains, and we have these bodies that can flip into survival mode at the drop of a hat. It kind of begs the question, right? Where does all this programming even come from? Well, for a lot of us, the answer is rooted deep in our past. Researchers actually have a way of measuring this. It's called adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs for short. These are really stressful, sometimes traumatic events that happen before you turn 18. Things like neglect, abuse, or just growing up in a really chaotic home. And these aren't just bad memories. They literally shape our developing brains and nervous systems for the rest of our lives. And what's really shocking is just how incredibly common these experiences are. Look at this. Over half the population has gone through at least one ACE. Nearly a quarter of us have experienced 3 or more. This isn't some rare problem affecting a few people. It's a massive part of the human experience that has profound lifelong effects. And now, for the first time, research is drawing a direct, undeniable line from those events in our childhood straight to our finances as adults. For every additional ACE a person has, their chance of facing major financial stress goes up by about 4%. For someone with 4 or more ACEs, that's a 16% higher probability, no matter what their income is. The trauma from our past is literally being replayed inside our bank accounts. So, if the problem isn't just about knowledge, but this complex mix of psychology, our body's wiring, and our own personal history, then the solution can't be just another budgeting app. It means we need a completely different way of thinking about all of this. And that means we have to shift from the old way to a new way. See, the old approach was all about willpower and spreadsheets, and that just leads to shame when it doesn't work. The new approach is about creating a feeling of safety for your nervous system first. It changes the story from, you're bad with money, to, hey, let's understand why your body learned to react this way. And this quote really gets to the heart of it. Financial struggle isn't just a numbers problem, it's a heavy emotional burden that can feel completely disabling, a weight that just seeps into every other part of your life. You know, the financial author Ken Honda offers this really powerful way to reframe debt. Instead of seeing it as this huge source of shame, what if we saw it as a symbol of trust? I mean, at some point, an institution believed in your future enough to lend you that money. Shifting from feeling burdened to feeling trusted can completely change the energy around it. Now, this doesn't mean we throw out all the practical advice, not at all. But we can give it a whole new meaning. Take that old saying, a penny saved is a penny earned. Well, from a nervous system perspective, a penny saved is a signal of safety. Every single deposit, no matter how small, helps keep your body in that calm, clear-thinking state where you can actually make your best decisions. So I guess I'll just leave you with this final thought. We've always been told that the road to wealth is paved with spreadsheets and discipline. But what if the most powerful financial plan has nothing to do with spreadsheets at all? What if it's actually about understanding your own story, learning to soothe your own body, and finally, giving yourself a little compassion?
Links below. Don't miss out. Worth checking out. Don't forget to like, follow, drop a comment, and check the links below.